Okay, at 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a note that council member Pulaski is absent. Old business approval minutes, the regular meeting minutes of October 3rd, 2024 were provided for review. I need a motion to approve the amended regular meeting minutes of October 3rd, 2024 as presented.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second, call the roll.
Mr. Kirby,
Abstain.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednicka,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Motion passed. Audience participation. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Okay, item number 2, presentation, military retiree appreciation proclamation. Proclamation in recognition of Military Retiree Appreciation Day on October 26, 2024. Correct team will be in attendance to receive the award.
Whereas military retirees have served our country faithfully in times of peace and war, military retirees have made significant sacrifices in defense of our freedom and liberty. A large number of military retirees and their families live, work, and play in the Lansing community. Fort Leavenworth Garrison will conduct a Retiree Appreciation Day on Saturday, October 26, 2024.
Florida or some other place like that, but that's why retirees settle in this part of the country. It's a good, both Leavenworth and Leavenworth County and Lansing take good care of the retirees. They've got good services, good people, and consequently, folks want to hang their hats here. So thanks for all that you do for the retirees. And again, thanks for this certificate. And if you get the opportunity on the 26th, show up and pay us visit. Thanks again. Thank you.
Equipment replacement request. The Parks Department is requesting a replacement for a 2014 one-ton diesel dump truck. Diesel dump truck, which was part of the fleet used for snow removal, has consistent maintenance issues, primarily due to the emission system. The current truck will be auctioned off and is estimated to offset the cost of the new truck by approximately $30,000. So I need a motion to authorize the purchase of a one-ton gasoline dump truck for the amount no greater than $90,000 from the equipment reserve fund.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just one question, just clarification, Mayor. If we do get actual $30,000 for it, does that mean the total cost would be $60,000? The $90,000 a worst case?
So the $90,000 is the cost of the truck. When we sell a vehicle, the proceeds of that sale go into the equipment reserve fund, which is where the cost is, so it offsets that
It offsets.
expense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thanks. Yeah, any other questions? All right, call the roll. Motion is call the roll.
Mr. Kirby,
Yes.
Mr. Garvey,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Brungard,
Yes.
Mr. Stednicka,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item number 4 is purchase of Spartan S180 model 4106. Over the last few weeks, incoming staff has reviewed specifications of what's needed to equip the incoming Lansing Fire Department. The pumper truck will be needed to ensure adequate fire suppression and emergency services in the future for Lansing and Delaware. Based on the city's needs, we also are considering the lead time and the proximity of the future maintenance. The city has selected the Spartan S180 model 4106. Warranty maintenance on this model can take place nearby in Grand Valley, Missouri. The total proposed cost list $851,501 to be paid upon delivery. However, the city would receive a discount of $21,874 if we prepay, lowering the cost to $829,627. So I need a motion to approve the purchase of a Spartan S180 model 4106 for the amount not to exceed $851,501 to be paid upon delivery, or for an amount not to exceed $829,627 to be paid up front. So that's an either or motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the truck with the prepay, which will save the city $21,000.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the purchase of Spartan S-180 model 4106 for an amount not to exceed $829,627 to be paid up front. We don't have any internet.
I don't know if you guys want to ask questions first, or I can do a presentation quick before the vote, if you guys would like.
Well, we have a motion and a second. So, yeah,
Okay.
if there's any discussion, we're gonna let Tim go ahead and brief. And then if there's any discussion after that, we'll have the discussion. Okay?
Sounds good.
So this kind of converted a little bit different, but anyway, I wanted to give you guys an overview of where the asset dispersal negotiations are going. And so right now, Fire District 1 has 4 pumper trucks. The 2017, there seems to be general agreement that would go to Delaware and Lansing. That would be titled to Delaware. There's no real disagreement about that. There's a 2014 Pierce that's valued at $330,000. That would go to High Prairie. Similar, there's no real disagreement on that. 2007 E1 Typhoon, valued at $156,000. That would go to Delaware and Lansing. No dispute on that. The one where, again, it converted kind of challenging when we put it up on the screen just now, is from 2005, valued at $93,000. There's one proposal where that would go to High Prairie, and then there's a different proposal where that would come to Lansing. One thing I would say too, there's been some delays in discussion. I think there's general agreement on 70% of this stuff, but it's almost like the disagreement right now revolves around, do we tackle the big things first, or do we do everything at once? And I think the folks from High Prairie, at least their attorney, seemingly wants us to go through everything all at once. And there's a lot of assets there. And our stance has been more so, tackle the big stuff. Once we tackle the big stuff, we can go through the smaller things. So that's kind of what the disagreement has been so far. Again, nothing earth shattering, hopefully nothing we can't work through.
Tim, are we only talking with the attorneys still?
They won't talk to us. So we're talking to their attorney from Lawrence.
All right.
And,
Thank you.
anyway, so based on this, I mean, there's a chance that Lansing could get 2 pumper trucks. There's also a chance Lansing and Delaware would get 3. And that's partially where the idea of doing a pumper truck now comes in. If we're able to do it now, we're eating into the lead time by about 2.5 months. So that's part of the thought process. The other thing that was crossing our mind too, the oldest one that may or may not go to Lansing is a 2005, so that's going to be 20 years old, so approaching the end of its lifespan by the time we would get the 3rd pumper truck. One thing that we discussed at the meeting in September that's part of our proposal or part of the discussions, and I think Mr. Clemens was at this meeting, while we would be waiting, we spoke briefly at that September meeting about keeping the 2005 pumper truck at the station. It can still be titled to High Prairie, but keeping it at the station until we get that 3rd pumper truck. So that was one of the things that was discussed. So, as far as usability, I think someone reached out to you guys a little bit ago, disagreeing with this decision. I guess I would just say to say that there was little research done is incorrect and kind of offensive. One thing I will tell you guys, I had spoken to another city manager from about 20 or 30 minutes away. I think that board member who emailed you guys was saying we need to get some type of quint truck. And when I had spoken to another city manager about that, his take on it is, quints are great if you have this big 2 or 3 story downtown. Quints could be great if you have this big industrial park with a deep lot that you need to come down with your fire stream or whatever. Or if you have a lot of older homes that have that knob and tube wiring or something like that. The opinion I got from this person was a quint for Lansing right now is probably overkill, and that recommendation is coming from someone who is no longer a part of the fire district. But again, I respect that board member, disagree with him, but I do have respect for his opinion. If you guys do want to table this, and the price is good until November 5th, it's possible that at that point, asset discussions might be more finalized by that point. So we could do a special meeting that first week in November before this goes bad if you guys want. I'm fine either way. So that's the summary on the pumper trucks. And I have a couple other things to just mention briefly too. So that's the 2017 Pierce. That's kind of the main vehicle you see them driving around in when they're doing things. So that's the one that's valued at like $400,000. That's kind of the main pumper truck. That's the 2007 E1 Typhoon. That's the other one that would be coming to Lansing. And again, the one that is kind of in question is a 2005, valued under $100,000.
Tim, correct me, the 2005 is the large capacity one. That's why it's been kept on hand. That's the ones that they look at the 2 townships to carry extra water volume.
Yeah.
Because they don't have established hydrants in some places. That gives them the water capacity.
Correct.
That's why they've kept it for so long.
5-1. That's why I get that, empathize with it, and that's, if we can come to an agreement, that's okay. But what their proposal is that 2014 and 2005. And when you think about it, the Lansing, Delaware area is 13 or 14,000 people. High Prairie is about 2,000 people. So splitting up the pumper trucks 50-50, we would have to be compensated a bit more out of their share of the cash reserves. Or, like we spoke about, we could put something in a contract that keeps that 2005 in Station 1 for 6 months until we get the spark. So anyway, those are some ideas that are floating around. And then this is generally what the truck would look like. There might be a few small differences, but that's a Spartan S180 4106. So that's generally what it would look like.
Where's it being built?
Yeah, I'd have to double check on the manufacturing location. I think one of the things that was appealing about this company, maintenance would take place in the Kansas City metro area. Because
makes sense,
yeah, so I think that was one of the things that was appealing. Other departments have gotten this recently. I think KCK just purchased 3 or 4 of these. Fairmont Township just purchased one of these. If you guys remember some of those presentations from last summer when people were saying 2 or 3 year wait time for a pumper truck, that's different brands. The brand that has a 2 or 3 year wait time, that would be more the Lexus of fire trucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, wait time on this is quite a bit less. Couple other things on additional vehicles that are being discussed. 2017 Chevy Silverado, valued at $37,250. That's being discussed as going to Lansing. No real major disagreement with that. We might convert that to a small brush truck. That's kind of the chief's vehicle now. If you guys see that Chevy Silverado rolling around with nothing in the bed, that's the one that would potentially be converted to a brush truck. 2013 Ford F350, that would go to High Prairie. Again, no real dispute on that. There's a brand new Ford Expedition. The board purchased this last year, and it just came in earlier this week. And let's see, here we go. That's what it looks like. So the board purchased this last year with the intention of being Chief Stackhouse's vehicle. Chief Stackhouse is not here anymore, but so this would be the main administrative vehicle, and that's why the 2017 could be converted into a small brush truck. So. High Prairie's requested the 2015 Kubota. Again, no real dispute on our end. That's something if we want to replace. I mean, recently we've purchased, I think we purchased Polaris's last year or something like that for the wastewater department. So no real dispute there. 2011 Dodge Brush and 2009 Dodge Brush. This is one there has been a little bit of discussion on because I think both parties would prefer the newer brush truck rather than the older one. There's only a difference in $5,000 on value, but that's one there has been a little bit of discussion and back and forth on. And then this is a summary of the additional inventory. Again, I apologize when I was doing this on my desktop. It didn't have any overlap, but that kind of shows you the different types of inventory that's on each vehicle and different inventory that's in each building. The Station 1 inventory, which is in Lansing, that has a little bit over $80,000 worth of equipment. The Station 2 inventory has about $18,000 worth of equipment. So, and then you can see how much inventory is on each of the trucks. So, Lansing and Delaware combined, a little over 75%. High Prairie, a little bit less than 25%. So again, I think that's where our board member, threw out 3 to Lansing, Delaware, 1 to High Prairie. Again, that's certainly a possibility, and that's what we're open to. But again, we're also having that discussion of if High Prairie is passionate about having 2 pumper trucks, just trying to make the necessary accommodations. So we're prepared day one. And again, that would be asking them to keep the 2005 in Station 1 for 6 months until the Spartan is ready. So again, that's kind of the background on it. I know a board member reached out to you guys 45 minutes ago kind of disagreeing with this. That's is what it is, I guess.
When you say a board member, this board or the fire board?
Fire.
Mr. Gaslin emailed you guys
6:10.
at 6:10 disagreeing with this. So again, I'm open to whatever you guys want to do. This price is good until November 5th. So if you guys want to have a special meeting that first week of November, we can do that. And hopefully by that point, asset appraisals will be a little bit further along or hopefully even finalized. But that's kind of the update. So I'm open to any questions you guys have or how the discussions are
Yeah,
going.
anybody have any questions on this?
It looks like these are made in Brandon, South Dakota, by the way.
There you go.
Have we, since we're new into this, have we made other purchases from EM Feld or Feld Fire or whatever it is?
The city has it. The city has it.
And the other question I think you answered, because other local. And the other question I think you answered, because other local people have already received our trucks from them, so.
Yeah.
Jim, I know one of your, I don't know if it's necessarily a concern, but read something, make sure I interpret it right, that it was with, when we're audited, that, we're going to be dipping into our, so our reserves are going to be low.
Yeah, so.
Lower than what they should be, but then we'll get it back.
Yes, but when it shows up in the audit, like say our reserves would normally be $3 million, it's a rough number. Say it'd normally be $3 million, it would instead show up as 0.6. We would know because I think once asset dispersal is finalized, because FD1 is like $1 million, just under $1 million. So we would receive that in February or March once all their books are closed. But that's where if we want to save that $20-something thousand, we're saving money for our taxpayers, which is good, but it would just make our reserves look a little bit less than.
And I'm good. That's just temporary. Yeah, and I'm good with that. I just.
When did the bond ratings come out? Isn't that factored in there?
It is, but it's typically, they do that when we are issuing debt.
Okay.
And they'll ask us those questions.
So you don't think
we can say, hey, this is the reason why our general fund reserve was low.
Yeah.
Since then, we've received funds in from, that are dedicated for fire, and we've reimbursed the general fund.
Yeah, that was my question. My next question was, so there will be a conversation and you can give the reason why.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Not gonna be that big a deal.
No, I mean, as long as we have a valid explanation, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll say, got any funds? We didn't have any money, we don't have any money in it until 2025, but we could.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
My feeling is negotiations aside, asset distribution aside, just looking at the age of vehicles, we need to be proactive in getting a newer vehicle to our citizens. And I'm good with paying up front. I'm good for that. That's my opinion.
Well, with all due respect to everybody who knows fire trucks, and I don't think anybody here does. You know, we've hired a guy to be our fire chief. We hired him because of his experience and knowledge. He's the one that's going to be here to deal with it and the others on. And I don't want to send our soon-to-be fire chief any kind of message of, you know, hey, maybe we got your ability, knowledge, when there's anybody in this room who could question any of that. Nobody here's got that knowledge. I think it sends the wrong message to him. I think it sends the wrong message to the guys that plan on staying at the fire department.
So you're in favor?
Yeah.
Okay. Just I want to clarify. Start out that way.
So I'm trying to be a little bit more specific about why.
And again, just to emphasize, again, the thought process behind me and incoming staff is the assets we would be receiving. The newest one is 2017, right? So it's not like we're receiving all of these trucks that are only 2 years old. So that was part of the thought process. Again, respect the board, really respect their opinion, disagree with that recommendation, I guess. But that said, the price is good until November 5th. So I'm fine with what you guys want to do on that. If you guys want to, I'm good with whatever.
We have a motion in a second. We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the Spartan S-180 model 4106. Amount not to exceed $829,627 to be paid up front. That's the motion in a second. So does anybody want to change that? Or is it good?
Would it have to fail? And then change the motion?
Yeah.
The person can always rescind the second. We don't rescind the
Right.
I don't think.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call roll.
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Motion passed. Reports. Any department heads? City attorney.
Other report.
Tim.
On October 24th, we're having that joint meeting with Delaware Township. So that will be our work session for the month, next Thursday. That will be in the community center at 7 p.m. Just to answer any public questions about the fire transition and all of that good stuff. So that would be the work session next week. And then
This is for Delaware, but
for both.
well, I mean, but
I think the goal behind it is to be as transparent, as open as possible. So, you know, like we've had articles about it in the Lansing Connection. If there's Delaware folks who aren't aware of this, it gives them a chance to come in, ask questions, things like that. So, and then Josh and myself are looking at going to the November school board meeting to talk about just confirming that they're okay doing the fireworks event at the high school again in 2025. So we'll be doing that. So wanted to pass that on in case anybody wanted to come to that meeting. So, but those are the main things I have.
Around the horn. Gene, you're first.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Jesse.
Nothing.
All right, thanks, Jesse Pete.
I'm all about bringing people together, and this weekend we're going to celebrate the Fall Fest. I'd just like to welcome all the citizens out to the Fall Fest. Come on, have some fun, have some food, and have some fellowship. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
We did have a LCPA meeting this week. We've got copies of it in your packet. For those of you who may get questioned about when the bridges are going to be completed, completion dates are in there. The other thing that we're putting together is the Leavenworth County Commissioners has asked the LCPA to come up with a more stable budget instead of submitting it to them each year, such as a dedicated meal or whatever. And we'll be putting together a people to make that proposal to the commissioner. Once that's been finalized and submitted, I'll get back with you. All right, that's everything.
Thanks. Gary. I have nothing, Mayor. Many thanks. Don?
All right, everything there. Thank you.
A couple things. Library, I went over the library numbers. She continues to outdo herself over here. They're still getting over 2,000 people visiting each month. The number of borrowed items is almost double that. And the Friends of the Library, the people that supply arts and crafts to the children, is now up over 1,400 for the year. So everything's going great over here. And the recent community survey, I was going through that. The different areas that they cover, the communication, the parks, the police, library, and the streets. Sometimes surveys can be subjective, but the numbers that came back for these areas that met or exceeded the expectations of the people filling out the survey ranged anywhere from 71 to 78%. So Lansing is in a good place for growth or for the people. And 78% of those people are concerned about the growth of Lansing, whether it be commercial or industrial or whatever. So I feel Lansing's in a good place. All those people and the heads of those departments are doing excellent, as well as the people that work for them. And there's a lot of good reasons, a lot of people responsible for Lansing being where it's at right now. But one big reason is sitting right over there, and his ability to hire people that produce like they do, and to retain people like Steve, who have been here for a long time, and to keep the company or keep the city flowing with all the ups and downs. He's doing great. And on top of that, he just became some family's personal hero. So I think we're in a good place, and I just want to acknowledge what he's done and say that we appreciate it. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Oh,
Mr. Kirby?
Yes.
Mr. Garvey?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Brungard?
Yes.
Mr. Stednica?
Yes.
Mr. Garden?
Yes.
we are adjourned.